Texture has reduced.
Now it's like a fist?
Flaky now.
Even smaller, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's like Fantidoclo. You know how you buy Fantidoclo
and you just keep on peeling.
That's where the scam started from.
But it's worrying.
Even for kenke, you were talking about it being flaky now.
Yeah.
Kenke has to go through a very rigorous process before it's produced.
Yeah.
So you soak the maize for about 3 days. It ferments. You go and grind it. Come back. Mix the what do you call it? The dough with a bit of water. Patch the face. Cover it. Leave it to ferment. And then you go and prepare something that looks like banku.
Yeah.
So made banku, I like to call it. A flatter. And then you take it off, and then you add raw dough to it, mix it up, then you mold it, and then you boil it. It's supposed to be steamed, actually. Now people cut a bit of that process. So the corn ferments, they go and grind it, they bring it back, and then they add a bit of cassava dough, and they produce the kenke.
Cassava dough.
So that now you can't go and find otimshino, which is the residue, the water. People add a lot of corn dough down to kenke. That's a shame.
Cassava dough, you mean?
Cassava dough to kenke.
No wonder. Because you know the color
So
of
when you pick the kenke,
these days it's like a bit whitish, and it's because of the cassava
and it's
dough.
starting to feel like banku. Kenke doesn't feel like banku.
Oh, don't
If you grow up in a kenke,
just to cut the costs.
But there are a few places that you can still get authentic.
Of course.
Yeah, there are a few places.
There's a place in Adabraka. Oh, Yehovah.
You have to show me
my
the
God.
place.
It's called what? It's like, no,
You have to show me the place.
Stop salivating.
It comes with
listen.
It comes with some stew, fish stew. Oh my!
It's called gravy. We call it gravy. In the kenke house, we call it gravy.
I can fish a wolf floor me.
Yes,
Gravy a low bemi.
No.
My goodness, what a forget.
See, so in a typical kenke house.
What's that area called? Secretariat or something? You know, Tabraka, you guys should know it.
See, Bella, in a typical kenke house, they fry the fish and then they lay the fish. So for every layer of fish, they put the stew on it with big rings of onion. And then they put it on. So that's the kenke sellers call it gravy. So when you buy that one, the fish is much more expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive
than the ordinary fried one. So they call that one gravy. 5 years ago,
some small slice was like 15 cedis. Right now, I'm sure it's probably like 30.
So that's the fish in the gravy, no?
Yes, the fish in the gravy is called gravy. That one, when you take it, you
and it's
feel.
very expensive.
Are you sure? Because I know gravy doesn't have
no.
any. That's why it's called gravy, because it's just
So my grandmother used to sell kenke. I grew up in a kenke house.
Maybe your grandma got it wrong.
No, that's how they call it. Ask anybody who has sold kenke.
So the stew, no, actually gravy.
Yeah, they call it gravy. So when you say you want to buy gravy, they give you that one.
And I think it's red fish that's used for the gravy.
Exactly. So there's chukwe. There's chukwe that's
and there's
used.
cassava fish as well, which
there's
is also
cassava fish lately, but there used to be chukwe.
All these things you're saying, I can't relate.
You don't eat fish as well?
No, I do, but of course, because of the combinations.
You can have conflicts with fish and gravy.
Wow.
Yeah, you say you don't eat corn, but you eat conflict. So,
five in the air.
Listen, soak it in water when it becomes hard.
Charlie, let's talk about. So, I'll give you another example. I go and buy beans from this woman.
Right.
And each
Osu beans? Osu beans?
Did you take pepper?
Yeah.
Osu beans?
Yeah.
I have a little confession about that though. So I've gone to that place maybe like 5 times.
Okay.
You know there's usually a long queue.
Yeah, long queue.
I'm so shy, I can't even get down and buy, so I just drive past.
Oh, you should
There was only one day that one of our colleagues at
you.
APL saw me. I was like, well, now you're the one who asked me to be. So I had to hide in my car. I was shy.
You should see me there.
Charlie, we join the queue.
I swear.
I'm shy.
I'm not sure.
Everyone say, Natalia, the other journey queue.
Don't be happy to serve you. Trust me.
Me
say, behind the Vodafone. It's behind the Vodafone office.
Yes. All the American embassy.
Yes.
So the rough road there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I always go and I look at the beans.
That beans is big.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is
what a beans.
No, they have that. They have green pepper. They have black pepper.
Black pepper.
No, I want the red one.
They sell the boiled egg.
So they have all that with boiled egg and stuff.
Yeah, but you see, if you eat beans and boiled egg,
my office people don't suffer with that.
Something must kill a man.
The devil will use you. The devil will use you. Anyway, but let's talk about the prices of food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone up high, and it's unthinkable. I mean, Gary Olonka now sells between what, 12, 13, maybe 14 cedis.
Yeah.
Gary Olonka.
Yeah.
You're getting a tuber of yam for 10 cedis.
25 cedis.
No,
So the other day, Ekuya Brampa went on the market. You saw that news item Okay,
we have a story.
Okay, so we have the story.
Yeah.
She actually went with 100 Ghana cedis. She couldn't buy what she wanted to buy.
Yeah,
It's just impossible
her family
now.
will be hanging.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that story and then we'll come back with a discussion.
Our checks from most traders show general price increase of the local commodities on the market. According to some tomato sellers, due to the seasonal short supply of local tomatoes, prices have gone up for the past 3 weeks. A crate of tomatoes previously selling at 300 cedis now sells at 1,600 cedis.
First, near fun local saying, near fun at that, maybe at 300 and 400, 1,006, 1,005.
Apart from the price increase in the crate, it's sometimes rotten, making it difficult to make profits. Onion prices have also shot up.
The various cereals have experienced similar price increase. Olonka of granuts selling at 15 cedis goes for 18 cedis. Sorghum and millet from 8 cedis now selling at 10 cedis. Price of beans from 19 cedis to 20 cedis per Olonka.
According to them, they increase their prices there with the lorry fare and everything. And my prices in the consumer.
Maize is the most hardly hit local commodity. It is in short supply and now going for 4,500 cedis per bag from a previous 1,500 cedis per bag. Traders blame this increase partly on the rainfall pattern.
They say a brochure to Ghana, if you say so, a brony ho.
There's shortage of maize across the country due to lack of rainfall. It takes weeks to also get the little supply at an increased price from middlemen.
In effect, the price of a ball of kinky, for instance, has also shot up.
5 million. First, you turn 2 million, about 1.8. As I say, no,
the increase has affected our pricing as well. A ball of kinky is now 2 cedis, and the 1 cedi ball has reduced in size.
As I say, no, me born 2 cedi, any 1.5.
Obviously, with the prices of maize shooting up, to what some traders attribute to shortage because of the poor rain pattern, it has trickled down to the ball of kinky you and I consume. And for the other local commodities, prices have also seen some increase. For these traders, it is worrying because they tend to push it back to the consumer who bears the brunt. Nana Ikuya Mensah Brampab, TV3, Malamata Market.
That's the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian at the moment. But you see, one thing that I've always thought about is our mode of preservation. It's part of the reason why commodities on the market have gone so high. When tomatoes are in season, when you go to the market, I remember but 2, 3, or even a year ago, you go and it's like a whole bunch for maybe 20 Ghana cedis and all that. A big gugu form, they're stepping on it. And those are the ones, exactly, yes. And just when it gets out of season, because we are not able to store them, exactly, the same tomatoes on the gather tree, and then they'll tell you say it's 20 cedis. When are we going to improve on our storage facilities or what is it called? Give me the
processing plants, actually.
Processing plants,
we've been doing in this country.
So it comes back to, I mean, all these problems existed. Now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, before he became president, had campaigned heavily. It was one of the reasons people voted for him. One district, one factory. And they promised that we're going to look at areas that had a concentration of, for example, you have pawpaw, a concentration of it, or you're going through Sogakope, toward the Sogakope area, you would have a bit of mango. So there's going to be a mango factory there to process it. Now, that was the promise, that those areas were going to have the factories step up for them. As we speak now, we have been told about planting for food and jobs, and we are laying claim to the fact that we are now a net exporter of food and things have improved. But when you go onto the market, the situation is totally different. And you're asking yourself, where are the factories that are supposed to be preserving what Kuke is doing? Is saying. Earlier, we were also told about some silos and storage facility, warehouses and all of that. Now, any agronomist, I'm not an agronomist, I won't claim to be one, but any agronomist knows that for every food commodity, you need a certain kind of temperature and climate
to
preserve it. Yeah.
If you don't get it right, you've messed it up. Yeah. So if you just construct, you know, brick and mortar, and you put a shed over it, and air and everything else is getting into it, and you say you are using that as warehouses, you have done nothing. No. In any case, most of what we get, the tubers, yam, cassava, they are bulky to store. So have we made preparations for them? What is our option?
They just rot. They just rot. But Theory, anyway, you have to leave us soon.
Yeah, I have to leave. So in sports, I don't know if you guys...
It's food expensive in sports too.
but you know, to touch on that before, even sports, for those who do not buy from the market directly, even you suffer, because I was buying food yesterday. I don't want to mention the restaurant, but there's an extra 10 cedis now. Before, just on Tuesday or so, a different restaurant, it was another 5 cedis. So I think it's affecting everything. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are buying,
from and all that.
The point is you are going to be hit.
But you see, even for the restaurants and the chop bars and the eateries, there's an 18 pesos increment on every kilogram of LPG. That we are not talking about. For every kilo of LPG that they used to cook, there's an 18 pesos rice on it. Tax that has been slapped onto it. So the restaurant that's charging you 10 cedis more is also thinking about the food prices and the 18 pesos on the LPG. So when we say we are not in normal times and everybody is trying, we can't be
It begs the question. So if you're a public sector worker and the only increment you've gotten in your salary in the last 3 years, 4%.
Wow.
Fuel has increased.
How are you surviving
You're
then?
paying more taxes.
All these increments.
LPG has increased. You have to buy food at a higher cost. And all you're getting, and salaries are the same, or at least for them it's 4%. But it's very insignificant.
4% of what? That's the question.
So it means that if your salary is 100 cedis, now it's 104. Can you imagine?
Yes.
104.
Then you now have to find the average salary of the public sector worker.
It's amazing.
Then you would know exactly what the 4% would be.
4 pesos of what?
Anyway, so in sports,
their salaries are what is used to calculate their pension. So 4 pesos of what? And if you are calculating, what are they going to do?
And you see, there's a reason people cheat the system, really. Anyway, so in sports, I don't know if you guys followed, but the UEFA Men's Awards, or the awards nominees were released yesterday. So for Chelsea, because they won the Champions League, their manager is in there. So 3 coaches. Chelsea's coach, Thomas Tuchel. Pep Guardiola, I'm sure you
have he's the fine boy. I love him.
So he is also in there because his club won the Premier League. That's a league title. And then there is Roberto Mancini, because in the Euros, you're following the Euros a lot.
Can you make your statements without embarrassing me?
So Roberto,
don't do that to me.
So the Euros coach as well, Roberto Mancini, was also nominated for the players in N'Golo Kante.
Is that him?
Everybody loves him. So no, that's Buffon, that's Lewandowski. These are not the players
we're not
I'm talking about.
Okay, now we are.
But this is all about UEFA, though.
But they can dress nice,
because they have the money.
They don't have to buy tomatoes for you.
Yeah, like Johnny Hughes to me. Yeah. So for the players, this man Jorginho, the man who just appeared on the screens, he's a Chelsea player. He won the Champions League. He won the Euros as well, and then won the UEFA Super Cup. So he's the most decorated of all the players nominated. N'Golo Kante is also in there, loved by all, hated by none. And then there is Kevin De Bruyne, a fine footballer for Manchester City. So those are the nominations. Locally, Asamoah says that he's still active in football. He's not retired yet.
But
last season, the entire last season, he played 99 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay.
In 10 months.
The entire season.
The entire last season.
But did you see him? Which day was it?
On Tuesday. On Tuesday.
Did you see his
Yeah, he knows he's put on weight.
He's put on so much weight.
Because he's still contracted to a club, I'll have to weigh what I say.
Yes, please do.
He was signed by Legon Cities last season on a free transfer. But that was your mate.
So Johnny, you're like 38.
No, I
don't
know my age. I'm 34.
Johnny, with Alfredo Kante.
Yeah, with head of news.
No, Alfred has grey hair. He's 42.
I'm 34.
Anyway, I have to hop out. You can catch me on Twitter for more sports.
Hop.
Kangaroo man.
Literally just hopped out.
So let's get to read your thoughts and comments. The hashtag is TV3 Newday on social media. WhatsApp lines are also active. Let's get to read your thoughts and comments on what you make of the present situation in the markets. I'm sure you've been going to the markets. And for me particularly, because you don't want to be buying food from outside for your child when he's going to school.
At home,
you'll have to cook every single day for him. So you're buying potatoes, you're blending carrots, you're adding this, you're adding that. It's a tall order.
For us, it's become difficult. It's become really, really difficult. And Bella, I don't know if you've experienced it. I buy from the farmers market a lot.
Okay.
So fresh produce, from vegetables to fruits and all that. And then you realize that they have actually inculcated the prices of the ones that go bad quickly. So maybe if the price of, like, maybe the green bell pepper or the yellow one, maybe if a kilo is just supposed to be 25, let's say, now it's 50. Because they know that once it's on the shelf, the lifespan is not too long, maybe 2-3 days. So they try to inculcate the ones that are going to bad, the ones that are going to go bad. They inculcate the prices on the ones that you...
So that's 50 Ghana cedis.
Exactly.
Yeah. But nobody sells to make losses. You see, that's the point.
And it's all because...
that's pretty high.
It's all because we don't have systems where we can process food. Because if you know that you can chop them, make them into something, can them and all that, the prices will always be down.
That sugar factory, so the locals were speaking, and they're saying that there was a reason why that factory, you know, was
couldn't run.
You know, couldn't run. But then at a point it was open. I remember under former President Mahama, and for some reason, you know,
because
it just went quiet.
It comes back to the farms. Do you have the produce?
Now the sugar cane that they are growing, they are forced to give it to Akpeteshie sellers. Because there's no plant to process the sugar cane for sugar.
So now they are giving it to Akpeteshie sellers.
You know what we also did with the what do you call it? A confit juice factory, Eku juice. It got to a point where there was no pineapple now. So now we had to wait, and we are now cultivating pineapple to feed the juice. I mean, if anybody develops what do you call it? A taste for that, and I did. I used to buy a juice, and I used to give that to my child.
I have some at home, right? I take a confit every day.
I never tried it.
Because I think that
it's good.
I still have Refresh in mind. Do you remember Refresh?
Let's take Refresh.
But the confit is really good.
I'll try it. I haven't tried it yet.
So bottom line, let's get the factories up and running. We have a lot of raw materials, the produce that we can process and make money. There's also the fact that the market women, you know, if we do, I mean, it would reduce our levels of import. Because we're importing tomatoes, we're importing everything. So it will reduce it, we'll keep some more money here. And the other big problem, which is why the market women sometimes inflate the prices, because if you go to the farms to buy, like the villages to buy, you can find a whole box of tomatoes at a very cheap rate. But they are looking at transportation and the nature of the bad roads and how much wear and tear will happen to the vehicle transporting it, the tomatoes itself. Sometimes they spend 3 days, 4 days on the road. If the chop bar people don't come for it, then then they add everything onto us. And it is not funny anymore. You're going to buy 2 cedis worth of tomatoes, and they can pick just 2 and give to you.
But 2 cedis in Ihobio.
But that's what they're saying. I read something where they said they were importing it from Angola.
Morocco.
Morocco is where they're importing tomatoes from now.
2 cedis
so clearly, now that the dollar is also 6 cedis and 4 pesos or so, imagine they have to pay the exchange rate as well. Which is why we will end up paying so much.
My problem is that the president told us in Parliament this year, in the State of the Nation address, that Ghana is a net exporter of food like tomatoes and onions. So who put it in the president's speech to come and tell all of us that we are a net exporter of tomatoes and onions and all the other small things that we use regularly in Ghana? Who put it there? Who advised the president to come and say that in Parliament? Because Parliament is a house of record. If you pick the Hansard, you will find it. Now, food prices are so high on the market, but we are supposed to be a net exporter of food. We're supposed to be planting for food and jobs. We are supposed to be doing all of that. I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't sink.